Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. NFL divisional round, Vegas, not Vegas spread pick show, but we're doing the live call-in show. What's up, Marine? What's up, Dicko? Great to see you guys. What's up, Steve? What's up, Juicy? Yeah, man. We'll wait till everyone gets in here. Overall this week, I'm not in love with it. Obviously, we have 4 games to choose from. Normally, we have 13 to 16, so the options are limited. And I do think we see more competitive games this week, and I'm looking forward to it. I pretty much know what I'm going to post on Patreon. I put 3 bets in already. Let's see if I post one more. There's still one I'm thinking about, but I don't want to do anything crazy. And we have to be honest, and we have to be real and give what the board gives us. The board's not giving us a lot. That Eagles Rams game. Listen, man, I could see that game going so many ways. I could see the Eagles blowing them out, or I could see the Rams stealing the game. And when I look at the Lions Commanders, we'll get into that game a lot. I just want to caution people who are going to bet the over in that game. Firstly, because I think playoff football is more methodical, and you have 2 good offenses, and I do think this Detroit defense is going to be more what we saw weeks 12 through 17 than the Detroit defense we saw against the Minnesota Vikings. But even with that being said, one thing, I used the word methodical. You look at the Commanders' offense, you look at their whole season, they have a lot of 8, 10, 12 play drives. Look at what they did against the Bucs. I felt like the Bucs was the right side in that game, and I still feel like that after watching that. We had a big week, but let's be real. The Bucs were the right side in that game. But one thing that tilted it to the Commanders' favor, besides that Baker Mayfield fumble, one thing that tilted it in their favor was the Commanders putting forth these long drives and icing the Bucs offense. And Zamora, thank you for the super chat. $2. Thank you, Zamora. Can I get your score prediction for Baltimore versus Buffalo? I guess my score prediction for this, I was actually doing the numbers before the video. I see a 24-21 win for the Baltimore Ravens. Hopefully Justin Tucker can kick the field goal to win it. That's been questionable this year. I see a really close game, and maybe I sounded too sure about it on the Tuesday video, but I think I analyzed the game how it should have been analyzed. You have 2 very good teams, and you have 2 very good quarterbacks. I think Josh Allen has played the best quarterback in the league this year, but I also think this is Lamar Jackson's best year. I've been saying that since week 7, week 9. And so when I'm looking at this game, I just feel like the Ravens have way more ways to win the game. But like I said, this could just be a Josh Allen masterclass, but he's going to have to do a lot. And I'm curious how this Ravens defense copes with him. You're going to have to keep him in the pocket, and you're going to have to put pressure on him. Really, the Ravens pass rush isn't the greatest, but I actually kind of like that against Josh Allen. Hear me out, because you have to stay in your run fits, and you have to stop him from running against you. I think that's very important. Yeah, I know this week has felt long, but I got to be honest about something. I'm very excited for the games, but once we get to wild card round, divisional round, I actually start feeling, I don't want to use the word sad, but I actually start feeling more or less melancholy as we get to these weeks. And everyone says divisional rounds like the best week of the NFL calendar. I wouldn't go that way. I think like Bills Ravens is going to be maybe the best game of the year, the most amped we get if we're neutral to watch a game. But for me, man, I just feel so much melancholy during this week. And it's like, it's pretty much like the last week of football for me. Once it gets to AFC Championship, Super Bowl, obviously that's good. That's fun stuff. But uh, it's yeah, man. I just feel melancholy this week. Not that I'm like sad or I'm fucking crying my heart out or I'm not excited to watch the games this weekend. I'm fucking amped to watch the games. It just is just like melancholy type feeling, and maybe from like living in cold areas, my not my whole life, but like for like 28 years I spent in like upstate New York. And once you get to fucking January, it gets fucking depressing. And it's also like a little bit depressing knowing that like football's gonna like end and there's no replacement for it. Are we gonna watch fucking CFL? Are we gonna try to get into the XFL or whatever they're calling it these days? No, like this is our sport and nothing compares to it. We're gonna bet baseball and we're gonna try to do our best with that. I'm still going to be betting soccer, although no soccer bets this weekend for me. I've been watching so much soccer this week, just trying to catch up so we're ready to go once NFL ends. But yeah, man, it is like more of like a melancholy type feeling. And there's nothing that can compete with the NFL. There's just nothing. If someone finds something, send it my way. There's nothing that can compete with it. There's nothing. Dude, Premier League's good, but it's not as good as it used to. Like, no one can be like they're like the it's not as good as it used to be, man. It's not as good as it used to be, bro. Like the teams are so unequal. Like one team will spend 20 million on salaries, the other team will spend fucking 5 billion. And then if the lower teams in the league who come up in the league want to get better, they can't now because of financial fair play. Like it's just not what it was. Like it really isn't. And it like the Brazilian league, like everything's equal, and I like going to the games. But yeah, man, it doesn't compete with NFL. Like, let's be real about it. Maybe like old Premier League before financial fair play. Tom sends a super chat. LA wins, Bills win, Lions win. Not 100% on KC. Well, I do think the LA game is interesting. Like I said, like I can see a lot of variables in that game. I think my pick on Tuesday is probably going to be correct. LA to cover, Eagles to win. But I think the Eagles are really vulnerable in this situation. Although the Rams on the road isn't something I want to put my hard earned money on either way. Also, I could see the Eagles blowing them out like 40-3. I could see the Rams not churning up this game, unfortunately. I mean, Lions win, yeah, man. But also, like I said, like the big question for me, man, is about that Lions laying 9.5. Pretty much, yeah, Luis, yeah, it's gonna suck. Like it's gonna suck. Yeah, like I said, like I know people get amped up for the Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl for me is the season already ended. Once we have that, I'm not like I said, like I obviously like I want people to watch the Super Bowl videos, and I'm gonna get hyped for it once we get to the videos. But you guys know that week off after the AFC Championship, a hardcore NFL fan. If you watch this show, you're probably a hardcore NFL fan. You know that week off once we get after the AFC NFC championship game, the season's fucking over, guys. Like I'm not going to try to spin it any other way. And then we should get one more game. And then is it really a game? It turns into more of a show. There's 55 minutes for the halftime show. LA Rams, Tom sent another super chat. LA Rams, but not because they are a better team. I well, yeah, yeah. Sometimes like the worst teams win. Like that's what makes this league great. That's what makes this league great. Everyone can win. That's what makes this week so dangerous to bet. Um, Like, I'll be honest, like when I do the wild card spread video and divisional round spread videos, like I just make the picks to the best of my ability and I fucking pray. Like it's not like that during the regular season. Normally I'm feeling pretty fucking good about the video and the picks after I made them. When it's wild card divisional round, I just say afterwards, like, let's see what the fuck's gonna happen because we know it's gonna be crazy. That's why we love the league. Tony, I kind of agree. I kind of think both defenses are marginal at best, like between Tampa Bay and Lions. Um, and like I said, like to start the show, I think the 9.5 is so complicated because these Commanders long drives and both teams going for it on fourth down. Um, well, yeah. So yeah. Okay, what about the 6-point teaser, Lions and Eagles? Yeah, I can't hate on it. It's just I can't hate on like teasing the Lions and Eagles if you get like minus 120. The fundamentals of it, you're gonna have the Lions laying out there with a hook at the 3.5, which is something I would normally avoid, but I feel like we can't avoid it this week because firstly, there's not a lot on the board we can do. Um, secondly, you should think the Lions take care of business by like 6-7 points. The opening line, I think when that opened, it was like 7.5 for the Commanders. Obviously, it pushed up really quick to 9.5 within a fucking like 30 minutes. But yeah, I think if you can get that at 3.5, that's good. But I might just like go Lions money line, add in Chiefs money line, then go Eagles money line. Um, that would be, I think, like the mathematically sound thing to do. Um, Super Bowls this week from Cal's Bills Ravens. I kind of feel you. King Justin, I'm not a Super Bowl guy either. I just like I'm not trying to act like we're hipsters, like you know the hipsters how they put on the big glasses and they don't like any music anyone else likes. And what else do hipsters do? They don't like any other food people like. Like who doesn't like a deep fried chicken wing? Who doesn't like a nice fucking greasy pepperoni pizza? They act like they don't like that shit, but they're too sophisticated, they're too cool for school, so to speak. But I do feel like kind of that way with the Super Bowl. I've just never really vibed with it. And it's not because my team's not in it. My team's never been in it since I've been alive. But I don't know, man. I don't vibe with it. I don't. And then watching teams choke against the Chiefs or watching Shanahan make bad coaching moves against the Chiefs was painful. So I remember that one. Tom, and appreciate the takes. Appreciate the takes, Lawson. Basketball to pick spreads on NFL. Yeah, I don't know how you guys bet basketball. JJ, gonna miss you too, man. Let's get to work. Yeah, let's have a fun end to the season, and we got some good games to talk about. Andrew, I don't feel Hurts recovered from this concussion. I mentioned it on 2 videos this week. I didn't see the comments on the video, so I don't know if anyone was giving me pushback on it. But I had a friend who was at the Eagles game. Like, obviously, this is not medical advice or me giving a diagnosis. I'm not a doctor. But he said he was seeing Hurts like just move gingerly and get up differently. And I also saw him running the ball different. I've never seen that man slide in my fucking life. I don't know. Like, is Jalen Hurts a guy who slides? I mean, he's thick, he's strong, he's fast. I've never seen him slide in my life. And I saw him sliding and I just saw him getting up, looking differently. And the throws were out of rhythm, but I don't know if we can judge that because the Eagles' throwing game has been out of rhythm the whole year. I don't know if Hurts is fully recovered. And like concussions are tricky, man. I mean, they really are tricky. So yeah, I they could just fucking cover the spread, just handing it off to fucking Saquon Barkley, and he goes for 200 yards. And I do wonder about this snow because sometimes snow helps the offense. But I feel good about the under with the snow because I worry about the Rams in the snow. That's one thing I'm worried about. Yeah, Cals, I did think Hurt still looked hurt last week because we came on here and said, listen, the Eagles were a money pick. They were on Patreon, and we got the under. We already, our expectations were really low for Jalen Hurts. Our expectations were correct. We thought he would lack rhythm. We thought the pass game would lack rhythm. We hit the AJ Brown under 89 and a half. He got like fucking 11 yards and was reading books on the sideline. We really predicted it well. And that was with us thinking Hurts was fully healthy. I thought the Eagles were kayfabing us for taking so long to get him off concussion protocol. I thought it was kayfabe, to be honest. So yeah, man. Okay, here we go. Let's get to the first Patreon question. Hope everyone's doing good tonight. On this Friday, January 17th. Okay, here we go. But you guys understood what I said about like divisional round is kind of melancholy, right? This is when the season kind of gets to an end. My favorite week of the NFL is week 1. Scott Coast, Notre Dame, Ohio State. I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. I wish I could offer you some advice, Scott. I have no idea. Pringle, let's get cash this weekend, John. Yeah, let's get it, man. What's up, Justin? What's up, Dave? We dropping the hammer on a game this week. I know you like Baltimore. I'm not. Dave, I can't drop the hammer this week. I can't drop the hammer because even though I love Baltimore and I feel like they have so many more ways to win the game than the Bills, I do think the point I said where Josh Allen could just pull the rabbit out of his hat. And a lot of people on the comment section were saying, like, listen, Lawson, you need to address Lamar choking in these situations. I try not to do that because firstly, like I try not to do that because firstly, I feel like that gets in the way of betting. And that moves our mind in other places where, like, how can I say it? How can I explain that? How can I explain it? Like, I just think things are more complicated than someone choking. Like, did Sam Darnold choke the last 2 weeks of the regular season? Yes. I don't think I've ever seen Lamar officially melt down. But I do think at times he's just put in like C- performances in playoff games, especially these big pivotal games. But I don't know if I want to make my bets just saying Lamar is going to play subpar this game. Like with Hurts, we had film evidence against the Packers, even though we had the Eagles money pick. Like we still had we had realistic expectations and we had evidence why we thought he would play bad that game. I haven't seen any evidence why I think Lamar Jackson's going to shit the bed this game, unless we go back like 2, 3, 4 years, which is fine. And I guess we can do that. I just try to stick with the games with the sample size we have this year. But yeah, I mean, I can't say like I'm itching to pound or go hard on any bets, Dave. Like I'm going to put in normal bets and I'm going to sit and brace for the craziness. I'd rather just sit and deal with the craziness with normal bets, normal cash flow, than have to deal with it with a lot of money on. Like, honestly, like that Bills Ravens game is almost too beautiful to bet on. It is, but I will be betting it. The Hound, yo, brother, been a great season on Patreon. Football season goes too damn fast. We move into MLB in the off season. Yes, we are. I've been studying MLB. I've been studying the betting trends, and I used to watch baseball a lot as a kid. I've always watched it with my dad, even at like off and on when I wasn't too interested in it. Baseball's getting good again, so I think it could be something we can exploit and we can grind. It's a grinder, but I have the time and I have the TVs to grind. So I definitely want to do that. Jeremy Wheel, hey Lawson, they have Washington at +9. You don't think they get beat that bad? I think they might cover. Jeremy, like there's like a 50% chance they cover. I guess why I'm worried about that game is because the Commanders have really long drives, like 8, 10, 12 play drives. Now, when you're laying 9.5, Detroit can lay like 17.5 and blow out a good team. Look at what they did to the Vikings. I mean, the proof is in the pudding for some of the stuff they did this year. But I guess my worry with laying the 9.5 with Detroit or 9, whatever you want to make it out to be, is the Commanders' long drives. Like I said, really long drives, and they're going for it on 4th down at a rate that is almost equal to the Lions. So that creates a large variance, like especially if they keep getting these 4th downs like they were able to convert against the Buccaneers. That's one thing that changed the landscape of that game. Like the Bucs really should have covered that spread, even if you like include the Baker Mayfield fumble. But one thing that just changed that game was the Bucs offense was on the field a really long time, and the Commanders offense wasn't all that effective, but they just kept grinding and converting 3rd and longs. And that's what was so impressive about the performance from Jaden Daniels. I don't even think it was like a Jaden Daniels like A game. Like that was maybe his 6th or 7th best game I've seen this year from him. But it was methodical. And when you're methodical in the playoffs, I think it's better than being explosive. Ty, your thoughts on any teasers? Well, the teaser I like is bringing the Chiefs down to 2.5. And I like on DraftKings, Lions are 8.5 now. If the Lions are 8.5, it's Lions Chiefs teaser all day, -120. And I would also consider going the opposite way on the Ravens if you can bring that to 4.5, or if you can even bring the Bills up. So like a teaser from me would be like Bills +7.5. If you get it at 1.5, I'd bring the Chiefs down to -2.5, and I would bring the Lions down, especially if the Lions are 8.5 on DraftKings. That's an absolute beautiful teaser. You avoid the 3.5 as well. Okay. Tom sends another super chat. NFL wants Lions versus Rams X teams. I don't know if the Lions want that. I mean, I think you want the big market teams in like Eagles, but I don't think the NFL like is putting their hand on the dial. I don't know. AFC, it's Allen's turn. Super Bowl is Bills versus Rams. Bills win, I think. Could be dead wrong. I went on storyline. Well, I don't know, man. Like, I don't buy into like the storyline stuff. I mean, teams can win any single game. So I don't know, man. I don't think you would write it that way to get like the story. I don't know. I think you would want to get TV ratings, and I think Eagles get better TV ratings than the Rams, right? I think. Um, yeah, I just think they want good games, and can you really? I just think they want good games, and can you get a better game than Bills Ravens? I don't like. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, even if the Ravens advance, like, is the NFL losing money or storylines? Like, there's a lot of shit to do, man. There's a lot of shit to sell with the NFL. The NFL doesn't have a problem making money. I don't know if you guys noticed, like the profits are going up every time they swing a bat. It goes up, and Goodell was talking about adding an 18 game. Which honestly, man, I get the player safety perspective, and I think if they do add the 18 game, they need to add another bye week. Honestly, I would be for it because the player safety argument is just tossed in the trash and you just roll it up and just throw it out to pasture when the Chiefs played like 3 games in fucking 11 days, when we have Thursday night football, which obviously isn't safe, after having a car crash just 4 days before. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. $808 billion reason for the Rams to advance. Like, man, I'm not certain about how I'm not certain about that. Like, how does that equal more money? I mean, how does that equal more money? I don't get how the Rams advancing over the Eagles makes more money. I don't even want to engage with that. Yeah, Mike, that's what Goodell was saying. They would take a preseason game. But I don't even think it would be a problem, even if they kept another preseason game. Even if they kept a preseason game, if they're able to get this to go from like Labor Day to President's Day, I think that would be good. Although, like, the federal government should actually do something and just give like a holiday the day after the Super Bowl. Why not? Why not? But if they can bring this to like President's Day, where the Super Bowl people have it off, I think it would be a stroke of genius for the NFL. So either way, like that's what I'm saying. Tom, I don't think the NFL needs any help getting money. Like I said, like I thought they were going too far playing a game in Brazil. Printed money. They were charging so much for tickets here, considered like the average pay of people here. Success. Do I think the NFL has fans in Spain? No, not really. I guarantee you that game with the Dolphins in Spain goes off. Like they just know what they're doing. And yeah, Angela, I could see the Chiefs winning again. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, although the Ravens and Bills are coming really fucking strong this year, I do think it's the Ravens' year. I really do, man. Gabe, I would not go over the 44, man. I would not. I would not. Okay, Dax Digital. Bills have a shot. Of course they have a shot, Dax. Of course. Chiefs win Super Bowl. I'm going with my preseason pick, Ravens. Where's the big upset going to be? Well, I honestly, like, I see a formula for the Commanders, for the Texans, and for the Rams to get upsets. Like, I'm not trying to be flippant or anything, but I do see formulas for all 3 teams to pull an upset. That's where I'm at. Derek, hey, John, would you change anything on this 7-point teaser? I just can't see KC, Detroit, or Philly losing. KC -1.5. Detroit -2.5. Philly +1. Baltimore +6. I would not change anything about that 7-point teaser. I would not. I guess maybe I would get a little bit nervous about Philly. But I want to, if you can get the 7-point teaser, that's viable. I wonder how much that's paying out for 3 legs, because you have 4 legs there, but I do wonder how much a 7-point teaser would pay out for 3 legs. Like I know the 6-point teasers by heart. But I don't know how much the 7-point teaser pays out. But really, like, even if Detroit has a slow game, you got to think they're going to find a way to win. J Bar, yo, Lawson, what's up? I like all the chalk this week. I know you like Texans +8 and have been shading my guy Xavier Worthy, but I'm heavy chalk. Commanders scare me, though. Can you see any world where they could pull the upset? Yeah, like I laid it out earlier in the show. It's because they have 8, 10, 12 play drives, which can keep Detroit's powerful offense off the field And you do wonder, is Detroit's defense more what we saw weeks 12 through 17? Or is their defense more what we saw against Sam Darnold? Is it a combination of both? Did they get healthier? Like Anzalone coming back is absolutely huge. But I do think Detroit's defense is more what we saw week 12 through 17. I do think Sam Darnold was more of an admiration. I do think Sam Darnold, it was more Sam Darnold than Detroit's defense. Also, Kevin O'Connell didn't have the best game plans the last 2 weeks. He even said it himself. But yeah, like I said, like there's a way to victory for the Commanders, and Xavier Worthy's really bad, J-Bar. Like he's really fucking bad. I'm not seeing where he gets the touches. I'm not seeing where Vegas got the 50.5 receiving for him. I mean, maybe he's getting better. He can create separation, but there's a play against the Panthers that kind of symbolizes his season. He's running like a 50-yard go route, and there's plenty of space. Yes, he was on the outside running it, but he's wide open. Pat Mahomes throws a perfect ball. He catches the ball, and he has 1 foot out of bounds, and he had plenty of space to tailor the route, even to adjust his feet. It wasn't like a toe drag swag type situation, and he ended up being out of bounds. And I feel like that symbolizes his whole year. And I feel like Hollywood Brown is the dog you want to ride into the player prop madness that is going to be the Chiefs Texans. The Texans, in terms of the player props, I didn't see anything I loved. They're like, okay, let's do some math here. Like, okay, the week before wildcard weekend, we had Menchie at 19.5. I felt more than comfortable with it. I was excited about it. Now we're looking at Menchie at 32.5. It's probably way higher than what I picked on Thursday. So I think it could be 37.5 for Menchie. You see how we're losing value with some of these Texans guys? I mean, Nico's 85, but that's really, really high. And I don't like going over that unless we're talking about Jefferson or a fucking Jamar Chase. I mean, of course, Nico Collins could go off for 100 yards. Who the fuck else are they going to throw to? And can someone find out if Jalen Watson's going to be playing this week for the Kansas City Chiefs at corner? That's one thing I'm worried about in terms of the Texans. I'm more worried about Jalen Watson coming back into that Chiefs secondary. Not that Jalen Watson is a world beater, but they've really struggled since he got hurt at corner in terms of covering people. Because you got McDuffie on the other side. Is McDuffie going to follow around Nico Collins? In the first meeting, I looked at some advanced data, and it looked like, from what they were saying, 15 to 20% of the time, I'm blanking on the exact number, but just follow me. 15 to 20% of the time, McDuffie followed Nico Collins around. Are they going to do that more? Sure. But I would still go Nico Collins in that matchup. Yeah, that's you kind of got me thinking about the player props for the Chiefs Texans. That was one where I went a little bit light on. I think I'm trying to think what else I had. Mike R is Ravens -1 a college fun bet. I feel like Baltimore has every advantage in every matchup besides quarterbacks, and even that's close. I think the Ravens win by 20 plus. It's not a college fund. Mike, we have to be responsible here, and we have to understand that, like you said, I do think the Bills have the advantage in quarterback here. I do. And if this was like 1978, like, yeah, we could just pound the Ravens. But I just think we have to bet responsibly here, because one man can win a game in the NFL, especially if your one man is at that position. But yeah, Mike, I don't disagree with you. And I don't disagree with you. I really don't. And I've yet to have someone give me any serious pushback in terms of that. Like, the only comments I've seen on Patreon and YouTube are just like, Bills are going to win, Lawson. why are you hating on the Bills? Like, no, like every time we bet the Bills that came through for us this year, every single time, uh, every single time. It's just like I think I painted that game rather well. Like the Bills have one advantage, and it's the quarterback, and unfortunately, it's the most important position. I'm worried about Zay Flowers playing, but like I said, he's not going to play. It looks like he didn't practice Friday. But never rule out any surprises with these NFL injuries, guys. We know how it goes. We know how the course is taking. But yeah, man, it's complicated, and I don't want to coach my bets. And I don't want to coach my bets, but I hope the Ravens turned over a new leaf, focusing on the run and simplifying this offense and fucking giving the ball to Derrick Henry and getting out of the way. That's what I want. Don't blinks. Hey, Lawson, what's your opinion on going all in on the Ravens game? No, guys, you can't. I really can't see a game script where the Ravens lose. Oh, I can. Oh, I can. I really couldn't see a game script of Baker Mayfield fucking fumbling an end around when the Buccaneers were taking control of the game and looking like they would cover easy. And I mean, we painted the board really well last week. But yeah, the Ravens are scoring 28 plus points. I can't see the Bills doing the same. Also, do you think a parlay, Ravens money line and Chiefs money line, is a great way to get plus money for a Ravens ticket plus 129? But isn't the Ravens are like minus like 120 already money line? So if you add the Chiefs in, you're not really getting too much value. And I don't think I would go all in on any sort of playoff game. I wouldn't. And in terms of game script where the Ravens lose, if the Ravens offense struggles and the Ravens turn the ball over, they will lose the game. And the thing with Josh Allen this year that is so scary is he's still playing aggressive, he's still making crazy throws, and he's not turning the ball over. Lamar's always held on to the ball rather well. So I'm not saying Lamar's going to turn it over more than Josh Allen. I'm just saying there is a possibility. But I would say the Ravens style is more conducive to limiting turnovers. And that's why this game's so complicated. Even with me saying all that, I could just see Josh Allen going God mode and winning the game alone. And I do think this Ravens defense is set up to do pretty well. And the big weakness, obviously, the secondary could be better and the pass rush could be better, but I honestly don't even want a great pass rush against Josh Allen. I want people staying in their fucking run, in their passing lanes, and to be able to stop the run so James Cook doesn't have 100 fucking yards like he did against the Broncos. I do think the Bills eventually need to pay for going into the season with Shakir as your best wide receiver, which he's been phenomenal. But even that matchup for Shakir in the slot isn't the best. I mean, there's one cover guy I trust in the Ravens secondary, and that's Marlon Humphreys. And we have to think we're going to be seeing a lot of Humphreys against Shakir. Like, I think Shakir is going to like get 70 yards in the game, but I don't think it's going to be easy. And this Amari Cooper dice roll certainly hasn't worked out. I would not go all in on the Ravens, even with that being said. I'm not doubting myself at all. Like, feel like I got a pretty good read for the game. I mean, I feel like we got a pretty good read for the game. Like, we laid the Bills minus 8.5 on Patreon, and we covered that in a laugher. So yeah, man. No, Sal, I'm not high. I'm not high. But the Bills aren't really a top 5 offense in the league. Just because you score a lot of points, that doesn't make you a top 5 offense in the league. Or make them the second best offense. Like there's a lot of variables at play. And I'm not going off the earlier matchup. Like that was so long ago, week 4 to divisional round. Like we can't take anything from that. I'm not taking anything from that. But the only thing I would take from that game was the Bills' offensive game plan was really like horizontal. Everything was underneath. And that's not really the way to attack the Ravens defense. To attack the Ravens defense, you need to go vertical. And that's what I think we see more from the Bills this game. But when you go vertical, there's more variance, there's more risk involved. So I don't think we're going to see even close to the same teams. Like I don't think it's comparable, because if the Bills go in to this Ravens Bills game with the same offense, trying to dink and dunk, play West Coast football, sling it 5 yards a piece to Dawson Knox, they're going to get fucking ran out of Ralph Wilson Stadium. They're not going to do that. I think we see a different Bills team, more power run, at which I think is going to be complicated against the Ravens. But I also think we're going to see more play action go down the field. And they could have the second most points in the league. But that doesn't change what I said, that the Bills don't have a dominant receiver. Now, the Ravens don't have a dominant receiver. Zay Flowers is out, and they don't really use him. And I don't think Lamar is conducive to a dominant receiver. But also outside of Shakir, there's a reason why the Bills gambled on Amari Cooper. I mean, he was missing practice with fucking personal reasons. Like, he's almost cooked. Like, we could see a healthy scratch from Amari Cooper. I would not snub my nose or be surprised. I would not be snub my nose or be surprised if he doesn't even get a catch in this game. It's just been a disaster. So yeah, man, I get what you're saying. It's just I don't think like the best offense is the offense that puts up like the most points or yards. Like that's not really what I compute with. So like, yeah, that's not what I compute with. I would say, Warren, I would say the Ravens have the better team on paper. Certainly have the better offensive line too in a game where it's going to be cold. And also people wanting to go all in on the Ravens, like just understand, like this is a tough trip. It's a tough place to play. And I'm not like a big home field advantage guy because I don't want that getting in the way of my breakdowns. And I don't want to change a bat because a team's on the road. Like, of course, you have to factor it in. I would just factor it into the size of your bat because that's not an easy place to go. Yeah, I don't think the Ravens are going to have much of a different game plan from week 4. I do think the Bills will. What, are we getting snow in Ralph Wilson Stadium on Sunday? I didn't see that in the forecast. I thought the snow game was Eagles Packers. Well, I would definitely Sal, I'm more worried about the wind than the temperature. But yeah, if we're getting 20-mile-per-hour Lake Erie winds, I would obviously give the edge to Josh Allen. But I would give the edge to Josh Allen if we're playing 80 degrees in Miami against Lamar Jackson. Like, I would give the edge to Josh Allen. But certainly if there's wind, I would be more concerned with that. Like, I don't think the Ravens are going to go fucking lay down like the Miami Dolphins because it's fucking cold outside. Yeah, okay, so yeah. So don't blink, just be careful this week, man. Rhonda Mahone, I seriously have a crush on you. I love your energy. Thank you, Rhonda. What's the best 2 to 3 game bet I can make? Are you talking parlay? I am running myself crazy, changing my mind. I feel like the only lock is the Lions game. I'm thinking Ohio State in 2 of the weekend games. Like, are you going single bets or parlay, Rhonda? I'll give you a parlay. Lions, Chiefs, Ohio State. That would be my parlay. I don't know if you're asking for a parlay or whatnot. I also like the under I posted on Patreon. Like, I think that under is fucking legit. Um, we hit that under Packers Eagles really easy last week. Similar methodology to the one I posted, and I feel like this one might even be safer. So maybe working that under. Peter Knox, I am considering a 13-point teaser involving the spread in all 4 games. Okay. I am going with Houston plus 21 and Detroit plus 4. Need your help with the other 2 games. A, should I take Rams plus 19 or Eagles plus 7? Eagles plus 7. Should I take Ravens plus 12 or Bills plus 14? Ravens plus 12. But also, if you guys are mounting a teaser, either way you go in that Bills game, I think is good. Because even with me feeling good about the Ravens, like, I'm not feeling as great as you guys wanting to fucking put my whole bank account on it. Like, even with me feeling good about the Ravens game, bro, I think this is like a 1-score game. Like, I think it's going to be settled between 1 and 6 points, man. So that's that. Maloof, Johnny, feels like this is the Ravens year. I certainly think so. How confident are you in them beating the Bills, Chiefs, and Eagles, Lions? Well, with the Bills, I'm pretty confident, but I understand the variables and variants that could happen in that game. So with the Bills, I would go like a 6 out of 10. I mean, that's pretty confident, right? Chiefs. I mean, you're assuming the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, right? Oh, fuck, man. Five out of 10, even though I think I would pick them against the Chiefs. Eagles, Lions. I actually think I would be very confident against the Eagles, like an 8 out of 10. With the Lions, 5 out of 10. Larry C. John, I'm here in Philly, PA. Big Birds fan. The forecast for Sunday afternoon is snow, possibly 3 to 5 inches. Okay, I don't want to give away the pick you're asking about. Also thinking of money line parlay with KC and Ohio State. Money. Larry, yeah, no question there, but you guys know more about the fucking college football than me. You guys know way more. Vaughn, news is coming out that Joe Mixon tweaked his ankle in practice yesterday. He's not ruled out. Does that give you a little concern about laying points with the Texans? Thank you, my man. Vaughn, I am fucking concerned anytime I go up against the Chiefs. First point. Second point is I do think Joe Mixon will play. Third point is I don't know how much of a factor he's going to be in the game plan anyways. I really don't. I really don't. For me, why I'm siding with the Texans in that game is the Texans defense and maybe seeing some rust from the Chiefs. Now, I don't think we can bet too big on rust from the Chiefs because, listen, Pat Mahomes is pretty old. A lot of tread on the tires. Kelsey's pretty old. Chris Jones, pretty old. D-Hop, pretty damn old. Joe Thuney, pretty damn old. Like, I actually think the rest will benefit them in some ways, although I think it's a negative because we're getting up to fucking like 25, 27, 28 days of rest. So, yeah, man, I think the Texans are going to have to find other ways than running the ball. One thing with the Chiefs defense, I've been critical of them this year, very critical. But one thing they've been excellent at is stopping the run. And that's one reason why, like, someone asked about a hypothetical Ravens Chiefs AFC Championship matchup. I said Super Bowl, my bad. In that hypothetical matchup, the thing that worries me more than like the flags or the rub of the green coming for the Chiefs side would be, can the Ravens slam the rock against them? I think that would be the matchup to watch. Brian DePaul, thanks for the work, my guy. Do you like any future bets right now for the remainder of the playoffs? The future bet I would put would be Ravens Super Bowl champion. But I think that actually has good odds because, okay, who are probably going to be the biggest favorites? Like, Chiefs would be number one. I'm just doing this off the top of my head. Chiefs, Lions. I would say the Eagles would be ahead of the Ravens if I had to guess what the sports books are doing. Someone correct me in the live chat. So I would go Chiefs, Lions, Eagles, and then Ravens number 4. I feel like that's good value. Am I right? Okay, here we go. I haven't seen the futures to win the Super Bowl. Okay, here we go. Got some more questions. Maxi Priest, great work, Lawson. Thank you, Maxi. Can you give your opinion on the teaser? The teaser I would go with would be, I would actually have to steal the 7-pointer, and I don't want to cheat because I know some people don't have it on their book. But I would just kind of maybe steal Derek's 7-pointer, bring the Lions down to 2.5, bring the Ravens up. That would probably be like 6.5. And I would bring the Chiefs down to -1.5. So that would be my teaser. So, okay, I was right on my hypothetical power rankings. I kind of know what Vegas is thinking normally. Kind of know. But yeah, so I would probably say the Ravens are the best value play out of all that. Kind of curious. I really think we need to examine how Detroit's defense plays this week. I'm very curious about it. I think that's the big storyline I'm watching in terms of Super Bowl futures. Josh Belay, hey Lawson, as always, appreciate the hard work you put into making these videos. No, thank you, bro. Your guys' comments were awesome on the Tuesday video. I pretty much responded to a lot of them, but I'm going to respond to all of them because I was honestly curious where people were from. Bills fans over here and just wanted to raise caution because this game is a coin flip and there's a lot of differences between the last time they played. Baltimore, Milano, Bernard, and Turin Johnson were all yeah, I know. Game was in Baltimore. Bills home field advantage is real. Yeah, man. Nose Flowers. Josh Allen doesn't have a broken hand like he did last game. Yeah, I think Josh saying it's a coin flip game is always important for people to remember. So, firstly, I think that's relevant. Secondly, man, none of the analysis was based off the first game for me, though. Like, I don't know why people got that perception. And I don't think we should be basing games. I don't think we should be basing our picks off what happened week 4. So, Josh, I think it's an important message because if people are, like I said, I did go back and watch that Ravens-Bills game. But I was just kind of disgusted with the Bills' offensive game plan, and I think we're going to get something much better. Like I said, it was very horizontal. It was very underneath. They didn't let Josh Allen throw the ball down the field. The one time they threw the ball downfield was late in the second half, and you saw Keon Coleman get going. And that's probably going to be what they do. I like the Keon Coleman props as well. I don't like Amari Cooper props in that situation. He doesn't seem like he's getting any separation at all. So yeah, Josh, like relevant point. But yeah, when I picked the Bills Ravens game on Tuesday, I thought of week 4 0. Absolutely 0. Chris Claus out. Okay, John, here's the pushback on the Bills. With when these teams met last and the Ravens blew out Buffalo, Bills were decimated with injuries, but I'm not basing it on that, Chris. I'm not basing it on that. Fuck. They are healthy again, and Milano is back and playing like Milano. Milano tightens the second level. I mentioned Milano in the fucking videos. Every video I did this week, I mentioned Milano. But Milano is a small body, and the point still stands. Milano's never been great at the point of attack, stopping runs. He's good going side to side. And my analysis was, yeah, he's going to help in the read option with Lamar Jackson keeping it. He's going to help in that. He's going to help in the pass game. But in terms of like hammer nail in the A gap, stopping Derrick Henry going forward, I don't know. Like Bernard and Milano are really undersized linebackers. What did I miss? What did I miss? I'm not understanding what I missed. And I didn't base it off the first fucking meeting. When did I mention the first meeting in the Tuesday video? I never mentioned it. And I said the Bills can win the fucking game. The Bills can win the fucking game, obviously. Fuck. And Chris sent in this comment late after I already mentioned it like countless times. Like, fuck, man. Like, when have I ever picked a game saying in the dating back to like fucking, it's almost like 15 weeks ago. But yeah, I get it. I'll finish reading the comment. Milano presence helps in pass coverage. Also, he will help contain big gains from Henry out of the backfield. Not saying the Ravens won't run the ball, but it's not going to be so easy. Like, yeah, I don't think it's going to be. Man. It's just. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, man. Thank you, Fresh Prince. Thank you, Fresh Prince. Yeah, man. So yeah, Richard, I've been talking about Bills Ravens the whole day. Like we're at Ravens to win in the cover. No, RG, I'm good, man. I'm good. I never, like I said, like I don't think the first meeting has anything to do with it. And like I specifically mentioned Milano's going to be back in the video. Like, fuck, man. I could be wrong on the game. I could. It's easy. It's a close game with fucking Josh Allen, and Josh Allen can win the game alone. I mean, these are games that come down to 4 or 5 plays at a certain point. So, like, yeah, man. But I didn't miss anything. Like, so yeah. Yeah, Steve. Like you said, like you could tease it either way and you'll be comfortable with it. And yeah, like I'm not saying the Ravens are going to blow them out. It's like I get it, man. I get it. It's a close game. It's a close game. I have to bet something this week, right? If I could see yeah, I could just sit out this week and not post anything on Patreon. Or I could not do a video and say, yeah, man, it's all down to variance and that's that. But yeah, Chris, I wasn't getting on you, man. I wasn't getting on you, but anyways, let's get Michael, man, on if he's here. Where's Lauren, man? She always says this week is melancholy. Chris got me. Chris got me. Um. Anyways, so let's get Michael Man on. But yeah, man, I think I wanted some pushback on the Commanders Lions game. That 9.5 is the thing that's been bothering me all week. Okay. Yeah, no, I wasn't hating on Chris. Chris knows what's up. I was just exasperated because guys, you know how I bet. Like I wouldn't fucking take a sample size of what happened fucking in week 4 to transplant that on a game in divisional round playoffs. Like I want to translate that. No, RG, I kind of agree, but I've seen crazier things happen, RG. I've seen Pat Mahomes win games alone with subpar teams. So yeah. I've seen Chiefs teams beat a San Fran team in the Super Bowl and beat the Eagles team. Both were way better talent wise. Like, so yeah, like that San Fran team that lost to the Chiefs was absolutely stacked and was definitely the better team on paper. Um, so Leo, yeah, man, Ravens this week. I'm sure you're nervous, man. I'm sure you're nervous. Milano. Milano. Milano's awesome. Like he's awesome. But like him and Bernard are like really undersized linebackers. I mean, that's one thing I've been painting about the Bills front seven. Like they're very, very undersized and they refuse to bring DeMar Hamlin down in the box. And DeMar Hamlin's a banger. Anytime he goes down to make a play, I'm not talking about the hit on Tua. Anytime he goes down to make a play, he's a fucking banger. So, what's up, RM? What's up, RM? I hope Chris didn't get mad. I wasn't going off on Chris. I wasn't going off on Chris. I just yeah, man. It's these games are tight. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. And like the perfect example of that is Baker Mayfield fumbling that end around when the Bucs were ready to close it out. You know, Chiefs covered. I don't think the Chiefs will, Mike. I don't think the Chiefs will, man. I don't. But we'll see. We'll see what type of Chiefs team we see. We'll see what type of Chiefs team we see. All right, Mike. I sent the invite, but I pretty much said everything I needed to say tonight. But yeah, let me take a look at these spreads, see where we're at. I hope Chris isn't mad. I love Chris. I love Chris. He didn't deserve that. The guy last week who said Stroud, that Harbaugh owned Stroud in college. That's why the Chargers are going to win the game last week. That guy deserved it. That guy deserved it. Yeah, man. I mean, how many times are we going to see the Chiefs win and they're definitely without the best roster. So, yeah, I know. Neek, they could barely cover 3 or 4 points all year. They barely could beat the Panthers. It's just we know how it is in playoffs. They churn it on. They churn it on. But yeah. Yeah, I think teasing the Texans up is a good option. You do worry about the Texans just starting really soft. You do. Yo, John, remember the 2017-18 AFC wildcard Titans upset with Mariota, Titans 22-21 Chiefs? It would be crazy if that happened. It would be crazy. It's tough to see a path to victory for the Texans. But I think they can keep it close, and I think they can make them sweat. Boski, I will. I just have to study it because that I've always like gave answers on NFL props, but this year I really started doing it, and it was rocky to start with. Like I put some on Patreon, like they were not good earlier in their year. So with the props with the NFL, I started doing the video, and I've been getting a lot better with the props for NFL. So I'm gonna have to do some trial and error with baseball. Because a lot of it's like statistical. It's more statistical than the NFL. But we still have to work with statistics a lot when I'm doing the props. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do them, man. I'm gonna try to do them. Um, but there's a lot of trial and error with it. Like with these NFL props, like I said, I've always thought about the NFL props, but you guys know it's different when you're betting and when you're observing. Like you really learn best when you're betting, and you have to feel the heat of your losses. So that's how I started learning. So and started observing Coop with the NFL props. Like he created some fundamentals I like to follow. Like you guys won't see me go over like 77 and a half receiving yards too often. Like I'll do it for Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. But most of the time, if like a guy's up there like AJ Brown last week, what was it, like 82 or 88, something crazy. Yeah, no, anything can happen. Anything can happen, man. Okay, guys, I'm gonna get off tonight. Patreon bets, I'll repost them because I posted them sporadically throughout the week. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the videos. The best gambling show on the internet. Great show tonight, everyone. Enjoy the divisional round weekend. It's really like kind of I can see why people say it's the best. It's just like I said, I get this melancholy feeling because the season's almost over. Rich, yeah, UFC, that shit's random. But you want to know why I like you guys betting UFC is because you can get plus money. You can get plus money. And I feel like UFC gamblers, I like the way they think, like, because that's one thing I've been trying to do in the long shots show. I've been trying to get us to think about maybe more plus money, more upsets, more long shots, more alternative lines. And that's one thing I like with UFC. You guys kind of embrace it. You'll bet a plus 350. You'll bet a plus 220. And I like getting plus money. And I don't see you guys like laying minus 300s and calling that a good bet. So that's one reason why I respect UFC bettors. And that's one reason why I respect like European soccer bettors. Like I like their mentality. I like their mentality trying to get plus money. I love our spreads where we get minus 110, minus 120 at max. Like I love it. And I think it's great. But I do like the plus money. I think it's fucking interesting. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Hit the like button, share the videos. Let's get this money.